Okay, so we have Sigarda's Aid, Hammer, and Ornithopter. So we're going to keep this. Looks like we're going to be attacking with a 10-12 Ornithopter. On turn 2, okay, Skirt Prospector probably means we're playing against Goblins. They could kill one of our Ornithopters, but we have 2, so that's pretty decent. Let's put out Sigarda's Aid and put out 2 of our Ornithopters and pass the turn. And hopefully we'll draw a land next turn. But even if we don't, we have our play of Colossus Hammer, hit him for 10. But if we do get land, we can put 2 triggers onto the stack, onto different Ornithopters, and that could potentially save them from an interaction. Okay, so they have Snoop here. So we're actually looking at losing immediately, unfortunately. So we're not going to be able to outpace the Goblins deck here if they have their turn 3 win. Okay, I think I just have to attack for 10 and then pass, I think. Put the hammer on after blocks, so they can't block it. Choose the attacking creature. Alright, here we go. Smack for 10. Do you have the combo? Okay, they don't have it yet, but they have 4 cards in hand, and if they have the black goblin that fetches a card and puts it on top of their library, then they can combo out. Okay, looks like we do indeed have another turn coming to us. But we're not going to be able to get through all these goblins here on the other side. With our Ornithopter grounded as it is. So we got one nice chonk in. We need to draw Hammer or what? Hammer would be the perfect draw. Okay, this is pretty close. So we can win next turn. Just get Hammer, then attack with the Flying Ornithopter here. They can just chump with one of their goblins here. They're under no threat from that. Huh. Double blocking, huh? Don't know why you wouldn't just block with 1, but if you want to block with 2, that's fine. They might have thought it had trample, so they blocked 2, so they would go to 1. Anyway, we're going to steal Shaper's Gift, go get the other hammer, or we could go get Shadowspear to give our creature trample and lifelink. So they're both pretty close here. I think Shadowspear might be slightly better to put onto this Ornithopter. Let's go for the Spear. My thinking there is that they're going to have a hard time killing this Ornithopter. Whereas if they had the Goblin that deals damage equal to the Goblins in play, they could kill this Ornithopter while we were trying to put a hammer on it. So that's why I decided to get the Shadowspear instead. Okay, so that is one of the cards they were looking for. Bogart Harbinger, but they want to cast it. It's not so great when it's on top of their library like that. But now they can just cast it with the Snoop, I think. Yeah, so this should be GG here. I'm pretty sure they just combo us out. Okay, no point in making them go through it. We were pretty close there. If we had managed to draw a secondary land, we would have been doing a little bit better, but let's not worry about that. So we have Path to Exile to keep them off their combo. Champ could carry a hammer pretty well. I think. We could also use Pithing Needle. And that would stop their combo. These are all options. But if we want to bring in the champ and the paths, we're already looking to take out 4 cards here, and that's quite a few. So we're going to trim. We're going to trim one of the paladins, get rid of probably the Swiftfoot Boots, get rid of one of the Cranial Platings, and maybe one of the Steelshaper gifts. Because I'm bringing in creatures, I wouldn't mind cutting out a Memnite. And then I could bring something back in, like the Paladin. I would rather have the Paladin than the Memnite, that's for sure. Okay, so we have Sigarda's Aid. We have a Hammer. We have a creature that carries Hammer very well. This is a keep. Unfortunately, the castle comes into play tapped here. So we're going to have to put Sigarda's Aid out on, what, turn 3, I guess? Okay, so they're drawing Aether Vial. Pretty good turn 1 play. And there it is. Okay. And Chalice. Oh, so that would be the reason to play Paradise Mantle last turn. Because now we cannot play the Paradise Mantle. We could still put it into play through Stoneforge Mystic, though. But really, they want that Chalice on 1 against our deck. Okay, so we found a Plains. I think we still want to play the Inkmoth Nexus here. Inkmoth Nexus, Stoneforge Mystic, go get Hammer. Next turn, Sigarda's Aid. We're still going to be off on mana because of this Paradise Mantle. We're not going to be able to Inkmoth Nexus Hammer next turn. More because of the Castle Ardenvale. If that had been Plains, we would have been fine. So I think we just go get Hammer anyway. And I mean, we could put Hammer on the Stoneforge Mystic here instead of the Inkmoth Nexus. And we have another Stoneforge Mystic to go get another Hammer if that's the way we want to go. But if we're just attacking with an 11-12 every turn, that might be enough. Ooh, and we get a Puresteel Paladin. Okay, that's a pretty good draw. I'm wondering if we play the Sigarda's Aid here, and then play Cranial Plating, attack with the Stoneforge Mystic, and then next turn go for the Colossal Hammer kill with the Inkmoth Nexus. Okay, we're going to do less damage this turn, and I think that means we might win next turn. We do have to watch out, though. Aether Vial at 2 could mean that they bring in the Goblin that kills our Inkmoth Nexus. So for that reason, we might still want to just hammer the Stoneforge here. Okay, Ornithopter gets countered by Chalice. I think maybe Puresteel Paladin and then put the hammer onto the Stoneforge Mystic is going to be a better play than potentially losing our Inkmoth Nexus. Yo, what's up, Dr. Stacks? Likewise. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. Okay, no blocks. We'll put the hammer onto it. And draw a card with Puresteel Paladin. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, they do have an answer to the Stoneforge Mystic here. Another 0-drop, which we cannot cast. But we might be able to get them with the Inkmoth Nexus next turn, double activate. In the meantime, we can't actually move any of these equipments. We don't quite have Metalcraft. Once the Nexus is active, we do. Okay, so we get the Aether Vials off of 2, but they still have 2 lands, so they can cast that that Goblin. Munitions Expert, I think is what it's called. Okay, here's a Chalice on 1, so I can no longer cast a hammer, but that's fine. I think I should win here, I think. Okay, so first off, activate Inkmoth Nexus. Put hammer onto Inkmoth. Okay. And then activate Inkmoth again. Now it flies. Okay, we got there. I don't think we want to change anything here. It was pretty December, yeah. Yeah, December's been pretty wild. Back to work for a couple days and then get another long weekend. Post office is quite a mess, as you could imagine. Okay, so we don't have any hammers. I think we probably have to mulligan this. Wouldn't even want to crack the Bauble because of the Puresteel Paladin. Yeah, this hand doesn't seem very good to me. Okay, so we have Hammer, and we have a creature to carry it, but we don't have any way to equip the Hammer. I think I want to mulligan this one as well. We're going to have to keep this. We're going to get rid of Memnite and probably Bauble, just to kind of trim out on the zeros. And I can put the Paradise Mantle onto the Ornithopter to get some mana going. But if opponent has Chalice on 0 this time, we're going to be in quite a bit of trouble. Okay, so yeah, our 0 drops here are just dead cards now. We do get another land, though. So we can play Stoneforge next turn. But between the double maul and the chalice, I don't think we're going to be doing too well. Should have brought in Disenchant for this. We saw the chalice on game 2, so I think Disenchant would have been fine to bring in to hit. It has 2 good targets. Canada Post, actually. But yeah, the benefits are pretty good. Okay, so they have the chalice on 1, so we can go get, or sorry, on 0, so we can go get a 1. We have a hammer in hand already, so I'm leaning towards getting the Shadowspear here. Okay, they got the Snoop. Shuffle up, nothing better. On top, Script Prospector. Okay, looks like we're going to get another turn here. Puresteel Paladin's not bad. I think that's probably our best play. So we can put out Colossus Hammer and Shadowspear, but that still only gets us to 2 artifacts. We'd be missing Metalcraft by 1. So maybe one of those lands would be nice. Inkmoth Nexus. That would get me to the requisite number of lands, so I could equip Colossus Hammer and Shadowspear and get some damage in. As is, we are under threat of losing the game at any moment. Auriok Champion. Okay. So we could play the champ here. We could also play an equipment and look to draw a land. I think that we want to be playing equipment here. And start drawing cards. Okay, we got the land. So now there's a question, do we want to play the hammer and look for another hammer? Or do we want to just play the champ here and be, I mean, is that really being safe? It would give us potentially an unblockable creature, but we have Shadowspear anyway. I'm going to draw another card, see if we can find another 1-drop equipment off the top. No luck. Okay. So we're just going to have to pass here. Okay, so they have the Sling Gang Lieutenant on top. I don't think that's too scary with the Snoop here. Chalice on top. So the Chalice is a bit of a problem if they're drawing that. They could put Chalice on 1, and that pretty much stops us from playing Magic. We really needed to get another artifact into play here so that we can start pressuring them. So this could be our last chance to get something going. Get Mishra's Bauble off the top, so that doesn't do much. We can draw a card with clearing and still play the champ. See if we can find a hammer. Perfect. I think this wins us the game. If not, I mean, it's a huge amount of pressure. Do I bother attacking with Stoneforge Mystic here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, I don't think I can attack with Stoneforge Mystic here. They could easily block it and still not die. Just attack with this. It's pretty good. They do still have outs to win, though. If the card underneath Chalice of the Void here is Kiki Jiki, for example, we lose. I think it would be the same if it was the Bogart that searches. So opponent does have a lot of ways to win the game, but they are going to have to block with just about everything in order to survive here. Oh, they choose no blocks and lose. Okay. Okay, I thought they could have blocked with the team here. Kept this Snoop around. No, that would have put them to 0. Okay. So yeah, they had to block with the Snoop, and at that point, there's no real reason to continue on, I guess. We have Hammer. We have a way to equip the Hammer, but we're missing out on lands here. I think I risk the keep here, because I can Steelshaper's Gift to go get Paradise Mantle, put that on the Memnite, and then I can put the Puresteel Paladin into play. And if I just draw a land off the top, then I'm laughing. All right, what do you got? Kind of expecting this league to be a rather short one. The matches that I've played in tournament practice with this deck have all been very, very quick. I mean, that is to be expected, I suppose. But it does mean that generally I'll have more time to consider my plays. If, for example, the first 4 turns are the only ones that matter, then I can spend, a minute considering every turn and trying to find the right line. I've definitely made a couple mistakes with this list during practice. For example, one time I forgot that I could switch the Paradise Mantle between my creatures when I had the Puresteel Paladin in play. So I missed out on a lethal attack by giving Inkmoth Nexus flying after. Okay, so they take the Puresteel Paladin there. No surprise. So we don't have any way to put our hammer onto a creature now. We do draw the Paradise Mantle, though. So we could put Paradise Mantle onto Memnite right away. And that'll let us put the Stoneforge Mystic into play next turn. And I think that's better than casting Steelshaper's Gift here. Make your own Bird of Paradise. Okay, Scalding Tarn. So this will tell us if we're playing against, it looks like we're playing against the Rakdos mid-range deck. They're already at 12 life here. Oh, Death Shadow. So normally you would see a Lurrus if the player is playing a Death Shadow. Bit of a surprise here, seeing a Death Shadow without one. Heard that Hammer fell out of the meta when Death and Taxes took off. Well, I'm not too sure. I haven't seen much Death and Taxes, but I still see Hammer Time quite a bit. I think that we want to play Stoneforge Mystic here. But our hand at this point is really doing nothing when they took away the Puresteel Paladin. Let's see here. So I either take the Shadowspear or the Cranial Plating here. I'm going to take the Shadowspear. Gaining life could be relevant. Yeah, they're so speaking more to what you were saying, actually, Dog, there's definitely an ebb and flow as far as the meta go. I mean, Death and Taxes was one of the most played decks for quite a while, being tier 1. Nowadays, like you're saying, you don't see it very much. But I still have seen quite a bit of the Hammer deck. Okay, so they obviously have some sort of spell here, so that if I block one of their Death Shadows with my Stoneforge Mystic, my Mystic's going to die. The thing is, how much damage can I really be taking here? If they have, like, Bolt themselves twice, for example, I'd be taking, what, 14 damage? I think I'm supposed to chump here. Don't think I'm going to get much more value from the Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, Lightning Bolt themselves. They have, like, Temur Battle Rage or something here, too. So maybe I was supposed to keep the Stoneforge Mystic back in case I drew Sigarda's Aid. Okay, well, they have another blocker anyway. Do I draw a land? So I could go Stoneforge Mystic, go get Hammer. I think I can survive one more attack. I'm just trying to figure out how I win on the crackback. And I think it's by having, by drawing Sigarda's Aid, honestly. Do I have to block with the Memnite is the question. So they're coming at me for 12, going to 4. If they draw nothing, then I can just take one hit and hope to draw what I need off the top. So the question then, should I Steelshaper's Gift for something to, like, thin the deck? I could go get another Paradise Mantle, for example, put it into play. Okay, so we can put the Paradise Mantle onto the Stoneforge Mystic, but that means we're going to have to block with the Stoneforge Mystic if it comes to it. I don't think it really matters which one we block with either, so yeah, let's just put the Paradise Mantle onto our creature so we can potentially get one more mana for next turn. But realistically, they have to have nothing, and we need Sigarda's Aid off the top. Okay, so we either don't block and hope they have nothing, or we throw away our Stoneforge Mystic. I think that we just have to hope they have nothing. This is the card they drew off the top of the deck. Okay, so they drew Temur Battle Rage. We were dead regardless. There was no way we could survive that card. Yep. So we die, but check out how big the Scourge of the Skyclave gets after first strike damage. Boom. It just doubled in size. How cool is that? Okay, so we're definitely bringing in the Champ. We could bring in Path as well. We're going to have to take out quite a few cards here. I do like Swiftfoot Boots for matches like this, where we're going to be dodging quite a bit of removal. Shadowspear seems quite good as well. we need to take 2 more cards out. Brought in a bunch of creatures here, so I'm going to want to take out a couple creatures, I think. Probably take out one of the Steelshaper's gifts. Already took out one of the Memnites. Oh, okay. Just finished the janky American build. So when you say like an American build, you mean like red, white, and blue like Jeskai, or is this something else? Alright, so we have way too many hammers, and we only have 1 creature. So if we just get like Thought Seized here, lose our champ, we're pretty toast. Okay, here we go. Opponent does have Lurrus. I think they might have misclicked or something when they were supposed to reveal their companion last game. Definitely want to mulligan this. Okay, this hand is great. Love this hand. Get rid of one of the lands, and we're good to go. Okay, so first turn, play Sigarda's Aid, Ornithopter, Mishra's Bauble. So we get to play most of our hand here. And then next turn we'll play the rest of it. Okay, so we're going to use the Mishra's Bauble during the opponent's upkeep, so they won't be able to see or take the card that we're going to draw with it with their Thoughtseize. Okay, so they're drawing Mountain this turn. Okay, so Blood Crypt untapped probably means they're holding up Lightning Bolt. Oh, love that Mantis Rider. I used to play the, what was that? Jeskai Blitz. Jeskai Aggro that Hoogland played one time at a Grand Prix. Did really well. Really enjoyed that deck. Okay, so if we play the Stoneforge Mystic, they're going to have access to Thoughtseize to take away our hammer, but they already have potential to do that, to take away our Stoneforge Mystic. I don't think there's any point in waiting. So we'll just play the Stoneforge, get the hammer, play the Bauble, crack it on their upkeep. Alright, so we're just practicing patience here while our opponent has priority here. We gotta wait for them to pass it back. Well, what kind of cards did you put in your deck? And why aren't they Mantis Rider? Oh, it's because you were already playing Lightning Angel, right? So you don't need extra copies? Okay, here we go. Stoneforge resolves. Let's go get Hammer. And then we'll play Bauble. Okay, we've already got a stop during the opponent's upkeep set, so we'll just pass the turn. Hopefully this means they do nothing with their mana this turn. Nothing but the finest jank. Love to hear it. Okay, so they have the Fatal Push for the Stoneforge Mystic. They might as well cast a spell, right? Only play Gates. Oh, wow. What a crazy time that was. Okay, so they're drawing another land, Bloodstained Mire. And we know they have Mountain in hand. All gates all the time. Okay, so that looks like the same mountain. Here's a Swiftfoot. And they're still holding up mana here. So we're kind of expecting a removal spell for the Ornithopter. Depending on what we draw here, might end up just getting Lurrus. But if we draw another hammer, then we're golden. Another Sigarda's Aid is actually just as good. No, that's not quite true. The extra Sigarda's Aid is better when we have two creatures. It's not going to save the Ornithopter from a removal spell. Okay, so they have 4 cards in hand. 1 is a Bloodstained Mire. So 3 unknowns. If we play the Sigarda's Aid, that's not really going to help us versus removal spell. We could play the Puresteel Paladin and pass the turn. And then, actually, I think that's probably the best play. That way, if they cast removal spell, we can cast Colossus Hammer, draw a card, and they can't lightning bolt one of our creatures this way. And then next turn, we can play the Sigarda's Aid, and that way we'll be able to put the hammer on whichever creature they don't kill. Okay, yeah, pass the turn here. We can attack with Ornithopter. But we're not actually going to do anything with it. Just going to kind of see if they wanted to flinch here. And like I was saying, this line is playing around Lightning Bolt. So they did waste their mana there. There's the Bloodstained Mire. Okay, so they're going to need 2 removal spells now, which they could absolutely have. Another hammer off the top. Stoneforge Mystic is another hammer. I could play the Stoneforge Mystic, get hammer, and then go for the win next turn. They're not pressuring us at all. Ooh, oh yeah, but Glasspool and Skyclave go so well together. Okay, I'm going to play the Stoneforge here. I'm going to get another hammer, and we'll go for it next turn. So we'll have 2 Sigarda's Aids, 2 hammers, and potentially 3 creatures. We should be able to find a line where we win from there. Ooh, a 3rd hammer. That's cool. Do we even want the 2nd Sigarda's Aid then? We might just want to go hammer, hammer, hammer. I think we probably just want to use the 3 hammers instead of the 2nd Sigarda's Aid here. Okay, let's go to attacks, I guess. Okay, so they're blocking the Puresteel Paladin. Let's put a hammer onto the Stoneforge Mystic. Ooh, Swiftfoot Boots is a nice draw. But I think we still want to just go with Hammer. Okay, so they have a Lightning Bolt here, going for the Stoneforge Mystic, so we can just put another hammer onto it, and that will nullify the Lightning Bolt. We got a Champ off the top. They have 3 cards in hand. Okay, so they have the Fatal Push. That nullifies 2 of our hammers. In that case, we might want to put a hammer onto this Puresteel Paladin here to save it. Because we're going to lose this Stoneforge Mystic regardless. Because we don't have the Swiftfoot Boots ready. So let's just put the 3rd hammer into play and save our Paladin with it. Being able to draw cards while we're doing this is pretty great as well. This one? Okay, so we got 1 critter big. Kills their dude, and we can play Mishra's Bauble, draw a card. We'll set the stop on their upkeep. And they have a Thoughtseize coming. Okay. Thoughtseize isn't too scary. But looks like they're shuffling in response, so they are not drawing the Thoughtseize. Oh, that's because I'm a fool. Not punished, though. Definitely should have equipped the 2 hammers second main. Alright, I don't think I actually want to change anything. We're just going to go ahead and run it back. Okay, so we have Sigarda's Aid, we have Hammer, we have Inkmoth Nexus. This is a good hand. We just hope they don't Thoughtseize away our Sigarda's Aid, but that's probably what's going to happen. So they target themselves with the Bauble, so they might not have a Thoughtseize here. Okay. We get to play Sigarda's Aid. So they decided they don't want to draw the card they've seen. They're playing Shadow, so yeah, that should come into play untapped. And we draw another land. Okay, so let's just stick with our plan here. Sigarda's Aid turn 1. And we'll play Mishra's Bauble and take a peek at what they draw on their upkeep. Oh, wow. Open a chest. All right. You want to wait until the end of this game, and we'll go take care of that. Yeah, if you don't mind. Cool, cool. Okay, so they're drawing another lightning bolt. That will be able to kill our Inkmoth Nexus if we're not careful. Okay, so they got a Scourge right away. That's going to become a problem quite quickly. But we got Path to Exile off the top. Nice. So there is a question of do we want to kill the Scourge this turn? We could still go get Hammer with Steelshaper's Gift. So we could go, but we would have to play the Plains if we wanted to do that. And then we wouldn't have Inkmoth Nexus ready to go next turn. We would have the Memnite. We might actually just leave the Scourge for a turn, but the problem with that is they might Thoughtseize away our path. Kind of like playing Stoneforge here with the Inkmoth Nexus, hoping that we can survive one hit from the Scourge. I mean, hoping we don't get our path Thoughtseized. And we might be able to just win next turn, depending on how they tap their mana. Okay. Take the stop off the upkeep there. We don't have any Mishra's Baubles ready to go. I'm expecting them to keep up at least 1 mana here, so they don't die to the Inkmoth Nexus. Eli Silva, thank you. Thanks for the follow. Okay, here's the attack. Yeah, we're fine to take the damage here. That is going to increase the size of their Scourge dramatically, but we don't want to lose our creatures right now. Does that mean I die now to a Temur Battle Rage? Well, we have the path, so as long as we can keep the path, we should be fine. Okay, they have a Death Shadow ready to go too. And they have mana up for removal, so we got to be careful. Blinkmoth Nexus, okay. So I think I probably want a Steelshaper's Gift, go get another Hammer. And then just kill them. Unless they have 2 removal spells. Because they have to block our creature and kill the creature. Could also get the Shadowspear, but I don't think that would be as good as getting another Hammer here. Just thinking about gaining life could be pretty potent. So they should definitely block here. Okay, so we know that they have Lightning Bolt. Maybe I was supposed to Path and then just Colossus Hammer, whichever one they didn't bolt. I don't think that's right. Okay, so they have 2 cards in hand. If they have removal spell, then I'm pretty hosed. They could absolutely just be leaning back on the removal spells. They only have 1 mana here. It has to be another bolt or a fatal push. I'm going to go for it. Ah, they have the other removal spell. Okay. So we lose everything here? That's unfortunate. Well, I knew it was a possibility. I could have maybe tried to play around it. Could have used the Path, for example, on the Scourge instead. Played a little bit slower. But as is, we're going to be taking 8 damage, and Death Shadow is going to become a massive threat in the next couple turns. Did I qualify for mana traders? I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it. I've just been running leagues lately because of my weird work schedule. Don't generally look at timed tournaments. Oh, okay. Ooh. I'm almost dead. Is the last card a Lightning Bolt? No, it's a Scourge. Alright, so. Is it possible for me to win? Let's see what I draw. I mean, definitely not when I draw just another land. So I could path 1. I mean, if I played the Blinkmoth here, I could block. But that's not a winning line either. Alright, we lose. Good game, though. So we have Hammer, we have Creature, but we have no way to equip Hammer. So we need to mull. Again, we have Hammer, we have Creature, but no way to equip Hammer. We need to mull. But we won't be mulliganing much more. Okay, this is much better. No Hammer, but Puresteel Paladin can draw us a card with the Paradise Mantle. We have the Sigarda's Aid. If we draw Hammer off the top, this hand is great. We're going to keep. We do have to put 2 cards back, though. We're going to put back, I think, one of the Paladins and maybe actually the Memnite. I think, actually, because we could play Sigarda's Aid, Memnite, Paradise Mantle, so we get rid of one of the lands, I think. Hey, alright, thanks for the cheer. Very cool. Think you would actually be the first. Congratulations, you're the top cheerer. Okay, so we're going to put the Mantle onto the Memnite here. And that'll give us 2 mana to cast the Puresteel Paladin next turn, guaranteed. It does mean that we miss out on the value of casting the Paradise Mantle with a Puresteel Paladin in play, but I want to get that mana out. Oh, I'm glad you think so. Thank you very much. Okay, so we got Steam Vents from the opponent untapped. This could be Lightning Bolt at the Memnite. Yes, indeed. Okay, Steelshaper's Gift, that does give us Hammer, but we can't cast the Puresteel Paladin yet. We might as well just go get Hammer now. Opponent already knows what we're about. They've seen Sigarda's Aid. I mean, it's got Hammer right on the art there, right? Just taking a look here at the art at Steelshaper's Gift, and I'm wondering if that is this particular equipment. I thought at first when I was looking at a smaller picture that it might have been JIT, but looking at it closer, it's definitely not a JIT. Pretty close though. Sword of Vengeance maybe? Could be. Okay, so we got Renin 6 on the opponent's side. Renin 6 is actually pretty good against us if we have a Memnite, for example, but they got the Memnite with a Lightning Bolt, so it is what it is. Further Memnites, though, will be eaten up by Renin 6, and it might be a good idea for us to take the card out of the deck. Okay, Inkmoth Nexus, Colossus Hammer, we're doing pretty good here. We're just missing a land, and we're good to go. Sword of Caldara. When was 5th Dawn? Because Jit was in the Kamigawa block, right? So 5th Dawn was like in the Dark Steel bit, which was, I think, immediately before the Kamigawa set, I think. Okay, so they have all their mana up here, which makes sense. Even if I draw a land, I don't really want to just throw it into potential counter magic. Maybe I'm supposed to just put the Lurrus here. Tim Hildebrand. Oh, okay, one of the Hildebrands. I probably want to just cast the Puresteel Paladin, see if I can get a counterspell out of them. And if not, if the Puresteel Paladin resolves, I can just hold up Colossus Hammer to save it from a Lightning Bolt. Okay, it resolves. Let's just pass the turn here. They know we have a Hammer as the last card in hand. They've seen it with Steelshaper's Gift. Growth Spiral. They do have red mana up. We are not playing into the Growth Spiral. And they get a land out of it. So we're going to have a hard time from here. Okay. Okay, so they're putting Bolt back on top. This is during my end step. They only have the Mystic Sanctuary left, so this is the point where I cast the Colossus Hammer, and I don't think they can respawn. I get to draw a card with the Hammer and keep the Paladin out of Lightning Bolt range. Oh, Barbar, you might have solved the mystery. So we got a Cranial Plating, and we got a 12/12. Your Lightning Bolt means little to me. Okay, but they have a bunch of cards in hand. It's totally possible for them to still have answers here for a Puresteel Paladin. Cryptic Command for days, for example. I believe they could Archmage Charm the Colossus Hammer away, but I'm not sure how that would work. It is still equipped? Cool. I thought it might be. So they become the owner of it, but it's still equipped to our creature until they can pay the equip cost. Right. Right. You can't just be casting spells and stealing your opponent's cards. It doesn't work that way. I don't know, I like the bees. Every time I see the bee, I think of Laura Bailey. Hello, bees! Don't know if there's any fans of Critical Role here. I mean, there's at least one. Okay, Swiftfoot Boots. That's pretty cool. We can put Swiftfoot Boots onto a Puresteel Paladin at instant speed. That's great. I don't think there's anything else I can really do here, though. I could equip, or I could activate the Inkmoth Nexus, put the Colossus Hammer onto that, but that's not really any better than anything else, and that would be playing into Cryptic Command. Let's move to combat, see what happens here. If they have a small piece of interaction, like a path, we're pretty good. Okay, come on, only have one thing. I mean, they don't even have white mana here. How are they going to answer this? Okay, looks like they have something. They're going to cycle a land. Okay. Gain control of the hammer. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's not like Swiftfoot Boots is going to do anything anyways. Yep, exactly. We were actually discussing that earlier in the game, so now we got to see it in practice. Okay, so the Swiftfoot Boots don't seem incredible in this matchup. They do have Lightning Bolt, but they're not running Path or Fatal Push, so I think we can probably take out the Boots. I wanted to take out some number of Memnite as well. Oh, he conceded because I had lethal. I was attacking for 12. Yeah. And when he casts the Archmage Charm, it doesn't actually take the hammer off of the creature. So it was just a wasted spell. Not too sure what I should be siding in here, though. Yeah, I could name some other planeswalkers. Yeah, I think the Needle is a pretty solid addition. We might just keep 3 Memnites then. I don't think the Auriok Champion's any good. Disenchant doesn't seem too hot. Path seems bad. Crypt doesn't seem very good either. Damping Sphere doesn't seem good. You think the Crypt is good? Yeah, they're probably playing Uro. We just didn't see it. And the Mystic. I mean, yeah, Snappy, Uro. The Tormod's Crypt seems pretty good. I'm not going to want to load up on them like I would against Dredge, but I think 2 is fine. We are starting to board quite a bit. We have 4 cards in. So I definitely don't want to add anything else. Gotta take one more thing out. I'm wondering if the Shadowspear is supposed to come out. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, huh? Spear, this isn't really the matchup we want Spear for. Spear is more for a race, I think, or if they're going to have blockers. Okay, show them our cat. This is interesting. I kind of like this hand. So we have turn 1 Needle for Wrenn and 6. We can play Puresteel Paladin, and we can go get a pair of hammers. And when we have 2 hammers, the Paladins will start working because of the Needle. I think this is a keep. Ornithopter, okay. So I think we name Wrenn and 6 with the Pithing Needle. We could name one of their fetch lands, but I don't think that's right. Oh, we should have played the Ornithopter there. I hit my my skip by mistake. We were definitely supposed to play Ornithopter. I don't think it's actually going to matter. We wouldn't be able to attack with it this turn anyway. We'll just play it this turn. I mean, like, we should have been attacking with Ornithopter this turn. Ugh. Such a fool. Ugh. Okay, so they have Valakut. That's the first time that we've seen the card. So that's going to tell me a little bit more about what they're doing. Okay, unfortunately we miss out on land here. Could Steelshaper's Gift go get Paradise Mantle, put the Mantle on the Ornithopter, and then Steelshaper's Gift for a hammer? It would draw a lot of cards. Yeah, it looks like it. And I think that's probably just as good as getting hammer and attacking. Maybe even better. Because we're going to be able to draw the extra card. Yeah, you think so too, eh? Alright, let's go for the... Oh, we play the Mystic first, right. Yep, that would have been better, I think. Okay, so they have the Force of Negation, so they're losing cards. We can still Steelshaper's Gift and go get the Paradise Mantle just to draw a card. Or we could go get Hammer. We can go get Hammer later with Stoneforge Mystic. That would be pretty great if we could hit a land. Alright, I'm going to get the Paradise Mantle. Okay. Okay, we get Mishra's Bauble. Oh yeah, that's true. We can equip both. Thank you. That's something that I forgot about last time too. So the question is then, do we want to get Stoneforge into play and go get Hammer this turn? Or we want to put the second Puresteel Paladin into play. I kind of like getting that second Paladin into play and really kind of grinding out. And we can Stoneforge next turn. So many manas. Okay. I think that's all we can do anyway, so let's just pass here. And on upkeep, we'll take a peek at what they're about to draw. They are drawing Growth Spiral. Yeah, I'm not too scared about board wipes from this opponent, but they could have, what's name? Fire Spout? Yeah, I think Fire Spout would be a pretty good card for the opponent here. But if they're playing Lightning Bolt, they obviously don't have it. So they don't have 3 blue, so they could have, like, Remand, I guess. This could be Growth Spiral. No, they're tapping 2 blue. Oh, they're going to Entrance our Ornithopter. So that's going to take us off of a little bit of mana. And our Paradise Mantle no longer works. Or rather, our Puresteel Paladin isn't making making it easy, rather. We only have to get 1 more artifact into play in order to fix that. And we get them. Tormod's Crypt is going to make the Paradise Mantle free to equip. And then we can get Stoneforge Mystic and get Hammer. Archmage Charm. Ugh. We managed to get the opponent pretty good on an Archmage Charm last game. It was pretty sweet. So we have 1, 2, 3. Cranial Plating would make 4. So we could attack for 6. That doesn't seem very good. Let's just go get Hammer. Okay, we get a land. Unfortunately, we have no more mana. I mean, just the 1, so we can't Cranial Plating here. Let's go ahead and equip to Stoneforge. And pass the turn. Okay, Mystic Sanctuary tapped. They're missing out on the last island, so they couldn't get their Entrancing Melody back. So I was worried about them taking one of our creatures with Entrancing Melody. So I figured if they took the Stoneforge Mystic, which has the hammer on it, then we could take the hammer back with our Puresteel Paladin. But if they took our Puresteel Paladin, we wouldn't be able to re-equip the hammer. So I didn't want to put the hammer on the Paladin and lose both. Yeah, you're right. It would have been better to protect it from Bolt. Okay, so again, opponent only has access to 2 blue mana, so no Archmage Charm, no Cryptic Command. We're going to be going in for some big damage this turn, putting Cranial Plating onto our Puresteel Paladin. Okay, Silent Clearing, that's nothing great. Let's go ahead and Cranial Plating again, draw another card. Mishra's Bauble. Okay, that'll increase the power and toughness of our dudes. Or sorry, just the power. Okay, we have two very scary threats here. Let's attack. Okay, so there's the growth spiral we knew about. Okay, they get a Mystic Sanctuary, which can put Entrancing Melody back on top. So we're going to have to Tormod's Crypt in response to the trigger here. Okay, so now they get nothing from the Mystic Sanctuary. It does mean we lose 2 power on the Puresteel Paladin, but I'm fine with that. They'll have to block something. Okay, we might as well pop the Mishra's Bauble during the opponent's upkeep here, see what they're about to draw. Remand. Okay, so they have a counterspell in hand, but that's not going to help them against the pair of threats that we have on the board. Okay, so we know they have Remand and that's it, so we should easily win this. Just don't cast a spell. If we cast a spell, it gives them an opportunity to counter it and draw a card. So we just went to combat and they conceded. We have Aid and we have Hammer, but we have nothing to put the Hammer on. So this is pretty close, but we have to mulligan. Okay, so we have Critter, way to equip Hammer, and Hammer. We keep. We only have to get rid of 1 card. Probably get rid of one of the Inkmoth Nexuses. Oof, Amulet. That's rough. Okay, we got the planes. Nice. I'm going to want to, I think, Mishra's Bauble and then Steelshaper's Gift. And go get Hammer. So now the question is, do we actually want to pop the Mishra's Bauble? Because that's artifact number 3. 1, 2, 3. So we might not even want to use the Mishra's Bauble. It might be better off just enabling Metalcraft. You don't like the art on the Inkmoth Nexus? I think this is actually one of the better arts from this series. I think this art is wicked. Okay, so they got the Simic Growth Chamber here. They're pretty close themselves. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think there was like a promo edition of the Inkmoth Nexus as well, wasn't there? Like a GP promo or something? Sweet. Alright, so yeah, I just want to play Puresteel Paladin this turn and pass. We have the secondary Mishra's Bauble, so I think we can crack one of them. We might as well just do it during their upkeep. We won't have mana to do anything with the extra card. They're drawing prime time. Engineered Explosives on 2, so that kills the Puresteel Paladin. Unfortunate. And they have enough mana to activate it right away, so they don't even have to let us draw a card. Actually, and okay, too late. I wanted to draw a card with that Mishra's Bauble. Okay, we got Stoneforge Mystic. Again, it's going to die from the Engineered Explosives. So let's see here. Maybe I'm supposed to play the Hammer so that they kill the Puresteel Paladin, but then I'm not going to have enough mana for the Stoneforge Mystic because I got rid of one of the Baubles. Okay, we play the Colossus Hammer first. They let us draw a card. Oh, they have the Ghost Quarter to kill the Inkmoth Nexus anyway. So they just have, like, all the things. Probably should just Stoneforge here and get another hammer then. No, because then they just kill the Stoneforge with the Engineered Explosives. True, true. And that would let us play the Sigarda's Aid. Amulet of Vigor. So they have another Amulet of Vigor and Prime Time. So we're probably dead here. Because, yeah, this is going to get Titan. Then they're going to be able to give it haste. We're dead. Let's just hit skip so that we can see some of the cards from the opponent's deck. But I expect that I know already what they're going to fetch out. Hanamir Battlements, probably Valakut, and then attack. Okay, they're getting Dryad here, so yeah, they're going to kill us with Valakut triggers. Yeah, I guess they didn't really need the Ghost Quarter here, but I probably should have forced them to use it with the Inkmoth Nexus last turn. So this gives their Prime Time haste, and then they can go get 2 more lands, which are going to trigger the Valakuts, so they'll go get Valakut and something else. And the Dryad is going to say that everything is a mountain, and Valakut says, well, if everything's a mountain, then I'm doing huge amounts of damage to Cooper's face. So that's what is about to happen. Yeah, we're going to concede here. We've seen enough. Oh, wow. World Slayer, jeez. Okay, so Damping Sphere seems pretty good. Think otherwise, I mean, Disenchant seems pretty good as well. It hits both the Amulet and the Dryad, so I think that's going to be our 4 ins. Path to Exile would also be pretty good, but I'm leery about taking so many cards out. Bring out the Boots for sure. The Plating. I think we can probably take out the Spear. Okay, what do we got? So we have Sigarda's Aid, and we have Hammer. We're just missing Creature. We also have the Disenchant. I think I'm going to keep this even though we're missing a piece. Because we have the Disenchant, that this spell might give us enough time in order to find the piece we're missing. But really what we wanted here was Ornithopter. Okay, so we're going to be disenchanting that. Oh, we found a creature. Do we want to play the creature this turn instead? I think we do, because then we can get double hammer going. So yeah, we play the Stoneforge Mystic, go get hammer, and hope to win next turn. And if not, we can disenchant the Amulet. I think especially being on the play here, this should be fine. But if opponent has Amulet into Karoo land, then we were in super trouble. I think we won this game. Oh, they could still have something. Blocker here would be quite good for them. Looks like no blocks. Very good. Okay, we should win. They have something. Dismember. Okay, so do they die? I think they still die. Either way. Our creature doesn't die, and that's what's important. They could have Lightning Bolt, and that would punish us, but they don't. Okay, cool. Managed to turn 3 that one. And they didn't even see any of our sideboard cards. That's sweet. So many random enchantments. You're switching from rejection to a null? Okay. I think you're absolutely right, though. Enchantments have definitely been at quite a high recently, with Blood Moon being so widely played. And then, I mean, Sigarda's Age, sure. It would be pretty good against Adnaz as well. Okay, so let's see here. We have creatures and lands. We have a way to equip the hammer, but we're missing the hammer. Not sure if I'm supposed to keep this one. Opponent is mulliganing. I think the Disenchant might be good enough to keep again. But this is a very, what do you call that, speculative hand. We could absolutely get punished hard for this one. Okay, we're hoping our turn 2 Disenchant is going to be worth something. Okay, they have a castle, so that's going to get them some mana. And a Grazer, and that's going to block one of our creatures. Okay, they're really ramping up here. Paradise Mantle. That's interesting. So we're going to play the Puresteel Paladin, and Paradise Mantle will allow us to disenchant. Get another Memnite. I guess we might as well cast it, right? Okay, so obviously we're really looking for equipments off the top. We have quite a bit of mana ready to go. Mishra's Bauble, not what we're looking for. But we should be able to attack here. Oh, that's summoning sick. I'm dumb. It doesn't have the spirally thing when it's a land, but like I just played the land, so obviously it's sick. Okay, they're drawing Summoner's Pact. That's a bit scary. So they could pretty much go Titan this turn, I think. Sigarda's Aid, not bad. 2, 3, 4. So yeah, they can go Titan. So this gives me 1 turn to draw Hammer. I think Stoneforge is fine because we have the Paradise Mantle. Also, they have to pay 4 mana for the Summoner's Pact next turn. I wonder if we could survive 1 more turn if they don't get Dryad, for example. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and take our turn. Not a hammer. Okay. But it does draw another card. Damping Sphere. Damping Sphere is not bad. Damping Sphere is not bad. Okay, so we can't attack with any of the ground dudes, obviously, because Prime Time eats them up. So we can just make mana with those dudes, and then attack with Inkmoth, and that's it. So let's see here. Do we have enough mana to also cast Sigarda's Aid this turn? 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, we have enough mana. Oh, it has reach. Doy. Okay. Read the card. That thing has reach. It's pretty good. Okay. I guess I don't have enough mana for Lurrus now. Oh well. And they do have the Ghost Quarter as well for the Inkmoth Nexus, so it looks like we're not going to be getting through that way. This thing has Trample. They're just going to be able to go get some lands. Let's see what they get. Field of the Dead and something. 1, 2... Okay, no, they're just getting Gruul Turf. No blocks. Okay, so they have Ghost Quarter. Doesn't even have Defender, so it can attack too. OP. Okay, here's another Summoner's Pact. And they're getting the Dryad. And they're playing the Dryad. So next turn we die to the Primetime attack. Oh, they can't play it because of the Damping Sphere? Interesting. Alright, let's take our turn. Let's see what we get here. Ugh. I mean, we can make a 1-1, but so what? They're going to attack with the Primetime here. We have just nothing here, unfortunately. We could go get Lurrus, cast Lurrus, play Mishra's Bauble. And let's see here. They have to pay 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're still going to have enough for the Dryad. So we've lost this one. I think that if we had the land, the Puresteel Paladin, the Paradise Mantle, I would keep this. But no lands, no way. This hand, however, this hand is great. We have the Sigarda's Aid and a Hammer We're just missing a way to get our creature into play here. We're going to get rid of one of our Puresteel Paladins because we're missing double white, but this is definitely a keep. Oh yeah, love getting an opponent on a pact. Of course, it's a little bit more difficult now, but it's also a little bit less scummy. I remember... Oh, Leyline of Sanctity. Interesting. So I think they are playing Oops All Spells. I remember years ago, though, you used to be able to get somebody with pacts. If they drew their card and they hadn't paid for the pact, they just lost immediately. Of course, nowadays, the game is a little bit kinder. And if you've drawn your card and the opponent reminds you, hey, you have to pay for your pact, you can just, like, tap your mana, and that's fine. Okay, so we have to look at our card, because the Leyline of Sanctity is not going to allow us otherwise. Ooh, we have an Ornithopter. Would have loved to have had that in hand for our turn, so we could have put it into play. So it wouldn't be summoning sick this turn, but this is great. We're going to be able to smash pretty hard over turn 3 and 4, but the opponent could just have us dead, I think, next turn. Memnite. Okay. And then we go get Hammer. Okay. If opponent has nothing, if opponent can't win their turn, we win on our turn with the Inkmoth Nexus. But they have all the tools they need here. They just need land and spell. So they only have 3 cards in hand. So they might just not have it. And it looks like they're passing. So I think we might have it. They didn't play a blocker either, which is good for us. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I activate this one that is not summoning sick. Then we'll put this one into play so there's no question about what's going on. Attack. Attack. Okay, we win that one. Quick game. Okay, so opponent is playing Oops All Spells. If they're playing the creature version, Tormod's Crypt is the way to go. If they're playing Goblin Charbelcher, we'll want Pithing Needle. Now, their deck is going to have Charbelcher on the side, even if they're running the classic version. So Needle might still be the way to go, as well as Crypt. Damping Sphere, I don't know that that's the way we want to go. That might not be enough. So let's bring in 3 Tormod's Crypts and a Pithing Needle. Take out Path. Take out Swiftfoot Boots. Take out Shadowspear. And maybe a Steelshaper's Gift, because I always just seem to cut one of those whenever I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Okay. So we have 3 ways to equip the hammer. We have a creature, but we have no hammer. I think we have to mulligan this one. We have no hate. Yeah, I think we got them all here. One thing that I'm considering now is that Tormod's Crypt probably won't work versus the opponent if they have Leyline. Okay, we have Hammer, way to equip Hammer. This hand is better. We'll keep this. We are going to have to keep a one-land hand and hope we draw another one. So we're going to get rid of Memnite here, so the Mishra's Bauble can hopefully draw us a land. Might have been better. Okay, so they don't have Leyline. That's good news. So our Tormod's Crypts, if we draw them, are alive. We get the land we're looking for. Very nice. So we're going to play all of our 0 drops, and we're going to Steelshaper's Gift for a Hammer. Next turn we'll play Puresteel Paladin. Seems fine. Go get Hammer. And we're going to Mishra's Bauble them during their upkeep. I don't think they're going to be playing Thoughtseize, but we can play around it. Sword of the Meek. Okay, that's a bad draw for them. And it also tells us that they are definitely on the mill themselves plan rather than the Charbelcher plan. Yep. It is. That's exactly why people have switched to Lantern. The reason why we're still running Tormod's Crypt is because it costs 0. Okay, we get a castle and another hammer. Neat. So we're going to want to play Puresteel Paladin here. And then next turn, hopefully win the game. Another option would have been to play 2 hammers and then play Puresteel Paladin next turn, so we don't expose the Paladin to a removal spell, say. But opponent is on combo, so most of their deck is going to be involved in the combo, similar to how we don't have too many slots to be playing cards specifically against them. They're not going to have many cards to be playing against us. Okay, so they have 2 mana up, but if they have nothing, we win. And even if they have something, we're going to be drawing cards for the Colossus Hammers as we play them. I'm hoping opponent just concedes to this. Not yet. All right. We're going to equip to our 2 weaker creatures here, and then we'll just attack with everything. So we're going to be playing around a couple of things this way. Any targeted removal isn't going to be able to stop everything. If they have, what is that, sacrifice an attacking creature, I can just sacrifice the Paladin. So we should be good here, GG. No, they have something. Destroy target artifact. Its controller gains 4 life. Okay. So we lose 1 of our hammers. Still going to hit them for a bunch of damage here. But they don't die. So they could just kill us next turn. Okay, they have Creeping Chill. So they're drawing Creeping Chill, another bad draw for them. And they're casting a Sword of the Meek. That can't be good. They might be planning to... No, that's not going to work. They would still want to destroy our Colossus Hammer. Let's see what's on top of their deck. A Balustrade Spy. So this is one of the cards they're looking for to win the game. Okay, we get a Cranial Plating and an Inkmoth Nexus and a Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. So, if we Stoneforge for another hammer, Opponent has no black mana. You're right. So they can't even play the Balustrade Spy. Let's see here. 1, 2... Yeah, I think we just Stoneforge here. Go get another hammer. Hello, Iburakima. So it looks like you came in just at the end here. Oh, really? What have you got for us? What kind of tech do you have against hammer? Or do you want to keep it secret? Keep it safe. Okay, we'll equip the Memnite. Same thing as last time, attack for a bunch of damage. I don't think the opponent's going to be able to deal with this. Nice. Okay, so we managed to 3-2.